Okay, day two. So, day two. So, hopefully, over the last 24 hours, you have been reflecting and thinking about the man you want to become at the end of this, who you want to be, what kind of person do you want to develop, and thinking about kind of that process. How do you get there? Over the last, that was kind of the homework from yesterday. Today, what we really want to do is kind of establish a pattern to kind of help clarify that even more so, and to build the habit of daily reflecting on this goal and building yourself in that direction day by day, little by little, taking action every day. And the way we're going to do that is using a journaling technique from Dr. Caroline Leaf. She is a neuroscientist, neurologist. She's done a lot of studies and kind of written a lot of books about the brain and how the brain functions and how we can shift and change the brain through mindsets, through journaling, through writing, through kind of really focusing and stretching ourselves towards the direction we want to be, towards the person and the kind of the brain that we want to have. That being said, most people, a lot of people, when we talk about journaling, they get into a huff of like, I don't like to write. I've tried journaling before, it doesn't work, yada yada yada. And I can't say that I haven't had my own kind of problems with journaling, but I do know that as we do this reflection, and as you get into this habit of writing and thinking about, reflecting about that person, that vision of who you want to become, it will guide you there. It will develop this faith through action and through hope that will really establish recovery. And so let's get into it. So, step one, when we are journaling, before we even get into journaling, we are going to gather kind of, or become aware of the topic, of the mindset, of that vision, right? So we're going to kind of start to sit down and just think about and start to gather information in our brains, kind of get our wits about us so that we can focus on that mindset, that hopeful mindset that recovery is possible, that mindset of we are going to accomplish this goal, we are going to achieve our vision and become who we want to become. Step two, meditate. We're just going to think about that, right? As we gather this information, we start to think about and kind of put into perspective and think deeper about the topic, about our goals, about what it's going to take. First two steps are not even about writing, right? It's just gathering information, becoming aware, preparing ourselves for what we want to think about and thinking about it. Step three is write. Start to write down everything that comes to your mind. It might jump around a little bit. It might not be so concise or written the best way. Your handwriting, your spelling might be off. Doesn't matter. Just start to write down as it comes to your mind on the page, writing out. And if it's you start down a line of thought and your brain jumps to something else, just shift over to that new thing and start writing about that. Just write, 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 write. Then step four is to reflect, reread, recheck, go through what you've kind of written, balance it with what you've been thinking about, your values, your vision, thinking about the future, anything that you need to change there, start to make some adjustments. Go through, you can kind of scratch stuff off, erase stuff, kind of rewrite something that doesn't add up or that you want to remember, that you want to shift and change. Okay, first four steps then. Step five is active reach, or taking action. Picking one thing based on everything that you've written and thought about and meditated on. Pick one thing, something small, something specific, 1% change that you are going to reach for the next 24 hours. So after you've written, after you've kind of done through this process, you're going to pick one thing that you're going to do a little bit better. When it comes to our goals and that vision, one thing that's going to move you towards that goal that you can do today, that you can do for the next 24 hours, so that you can kind of start to build this momentum day by day, choosing to do something different, seeking out revelation and doing that thing that day. Now, as we're talking about this, you might think this whole process is kind of pretty comprehensive. 5 whole steps to kind of write. There's meditating, there's rechecking, you're having to write. The whole process should only take about 5 to 15 minutes maximum, right? So the idea of gathering, taking a moment to step back, check what you're going to be thinking about, meditating on it, writing about it, rechecking, and then choosing something to stretch for 5 to 15 minutes. That's all it takes. 5 to 15 minutes a day, checking on your goals, reflecting on what you want to achieve, and then reaching for it for the rest of the day will change your brain. This will shift the structure of your brain to kind of be more in line with where you want it and help facilitate, again, that faith towards action, that faith towards miracles, that faith towards recovery every day. Thinking about what can I do today? What lack I yet? What can I do to improve and move towards my goals? And this whole process of journaling, this way of journaling, scientifically proven to help change the structure of your brain, to break down the old and replace it with something new, something stronger, something more in in your hope of recovery and becoming the person you want to be, right? And as you think in that sense of who do I want to be, not just who do I want to avoid or what do I want to avoid, but who do I want to become, what do I want to do, this will kind of gear your brain towards that goal. So what I'm going to encourage you to do over the next 24 hours, get a journal. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I would encourage something handwritten just because of the way that writing, coordinating kind of facilitates and activates parts of your brain, but get something where you can start to write today. Take, again, the next 5 minutes after this video to go through those steps and start to solidify what you've been envisioning over the last 24 hours to kind of put it pen to paper and start taking action today towards that goal. And as you do that, again, your brain will change, your momentum will shift, and you'll become and establish this recovery in a way that helps you feel better and enjoy the process. Good luck.